Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Billion Seconds channel. I just wanted to say hello from my new digs at Bethany Village in Coxsackie, New York. And I apologize for being away for so long, but I've been negligent due to the move. It's amazing how much crap we accumulate in the course of our lives. And I'm of the mind now that every couple of years, you should go through your stuff, and if you haven't used it in those 2 years, give it away, throw it out, do what you have to do, because especially in America, we accumulate way too much stuff. You may have noticed that I got a nice Japanese screen behind me now, and I actually had some posters made of my book, 1 Billion Seconds Behind the Wall, Pariah, which is the saga of my almost 33 years of incarceration in the New York State prison system. It's interesting. I've gotten a lot of good feedback from people through the Classmates channel that I've gone to school with. A lot of people who I didn't even associate with back in the day have reached out to me, and we've become friends of a sort through social media. And it was kind of different growing up on Long Island, as you all know, in the 70s. And I'm like a microcosm of basically how not to live your life and what not to do. You know, given all the gifts I was given, physical, societal. I grew up in a two-parent household, and I still wound up screwing my life up and going to jail for a good portion, most of my adult life. So I'm trying to reach out to some kids now and get some seminars going and things like this. Even make a movie. I'm speaking to some producers about things like this, and I'd like to have especially young teens, boys, statistically are the worst, 13, 14, 15, whose lives are going off the rails, to learn from my mistakes rather than their own. So my book is behind me, my domain site, bna-76.com. You can go right to it and purchase the book. And if you have somebody in your life who's a young teen and losing their way, I'd encourage you to have them read my book and, basically use myself as a reverse barometer for your own life. If you do probably exactly the opposite of what I did growing up, you're going to be just fine. Aside from that, I'm a political animal because I believe that politics does affect every day of our lives. And, God has definitely saved Donald Trump at Butler by making him turn his head a few millimeters to the right or left, I forget which one it was, to look at some display on the screen. Or else we'd be in the hands of Democrats who are evil and this is a spiritual war we're in now. This is not just about politics. This is about if you're a Christian, and I've mentioned this many times before, you cannot be a Democrat. Okay? They deplore every one of the 10 Commandments, starting with killing babies, the most innocent victim that could possibly be imagined, up until the second of birth. In New York State, you can kill a baby after it's born as long as the umbilical cord is still attached. You can end their life. And I encourage you to do some searching in your soul if you're thinking of ending your child's life. They say men have no say in this, but we're the fathers too, and that's one of the problems in our society today is that men have been taught that they don't need to take responsibility for their actions, such as fathering a child. But anyway, I'm getting a little off track here. What I want to mention is with all this Iraq war stuff and all these other things going on, we can thank God that right now we have the most qualified person ever in the history of America and the most accomplished person as President of the United States. As an aside, Barack Obama was the most unqualified person ever to hold a position. He never even had a job in his life. He was a community organizer, which meant he was basically a rabble-rouser, stirred people up at rallies. That's all he knew how to do. That's what he did with America. He came close to ruining us instead of bringing us together. This is the primary example of how affirmative action doesn't work. He was the first affirmative action president, and hopefully he'll be the last. That's the only reason he was elected, because a bunch of middle-aged housewives that have been told to hate themselves because they're white voted for him to prove how non-racist they were. But Donald Trump looks at things in many different levels on a profit perspective, okay? Whether it's profitable for America financially and otherwise. And this is how I think he's changed the whole metric of how a politician should be judged from now into the future. He's a tough act to follow. And, you know, against him, our whole political system is going to change because people are looking for something different. They're looking for people who are actually qualified and businessmen. The Republican Party is filled with successful businessmen, millionaires and billionaires, who've made it in the private sector, where the metric is actually accomplishing something in the real world, versus the Democrat Party, who they hold public office, they go into become a senator or a congressman, $100,000 in debt, and then they cheat to make themselves rich through insider trading or whatever else they do, influence peddling. This is what they do. Look what happened in Minnesota. It's mind-boggling. And this is the corrupt system. Primarily Democrats are doing this. We have to wake up as a society. This SAFE Act that they're trying to pass through Congress and the Senate now is the only thing that will save America, because we've got millions of people voting in our elections, disenfranchising people who are actually American citizens, negating their votes. And it's just unconscionable. And people should go to jail. I'm saying in places like California where they encourage this, these people should be held, if not criminally accountable, but financially accountable. They should be able to be sued civilly by people who have disenfranchised. If you are a tax-paying American citizen, and for example, Lincoln Riley and people like this, who Joe Biden probably has presidential immunity, okay? But Mayorkas and people like this that deliberately let these people in for political reasons, knowing that they were murderers and rapists and all this other things. And then they turn around and kill your family member. They should be accessories before the fact in a civil suit. And these people should be civilly sued for everything they have in a wrongful death suit. If this starts happening, and prosecutors and judges start having their absolute immunity under the law removed for making obvious political decisions, right? Things will change. Until then, nothing's going to change. But anyway, I got a little off track, and I just wanted to say hello. I promise I'm going to come back every Saturday at least. Hopefully once more during the week for an update. But I'm going to make at least one video a week just to stay in touch. And God bless you. And pray it works.